Yo, it's Guido coming out to the Tactics Talk. Take two. I just did this whole video and it recorded like the first 30 seconds and quit on me. So now I've got to watch it. I got my eye on you, OBS. Do not quit on me. All right. Chip the Dip, 38T, Martyr, Tier 4 German TD, and we are here in Ensk. I don't cover a lot of the low tier stuff for, I don't know why actually. I guess the biggest reason is it's not always meta gameplay. Who cares? I mean, whatever. And I don't get a lot of it brought in because if it's one of the guys that has a lot of experience and you're bringing me low tier gameplay and you're seal clubbing or whatever, I guess that doesn't look good. Not really a good look on any of us right there. But Chip the Dip is playing a tier 4 38T, and there's no reason why people can't go down there and grind tanks. I like playing all the tanks, so I really don't have a problem with people going down tier and doing that, just as long as it's not a whole bunch when you're experienced. However, on this particular one, I thought it was a great example from Chip about something that applies to any TD gameplay in Glass Cannon. So he's going to come and watch this road, and what I loved about this replay from Chip, and we're going to watch him do this is a TD is generally considered a second line, right, kind of fighter. You want to be standoff, you don't want to get up in front and brawl, but at the same time, you've got to bring your gun into contention. It has to be near enough to affect the battle, to reduce the enemy's hit points while your team is still alive, as opposed to going up to, say, A5 and sitting behind a building, or maybe over to A9 or 10 and hanging out in the bush, and just hoping beyond hope that the enemy drives into you and hands you their hit points. What Chip does here is he uses this tank appropriately by supporting and following up as a second line fighter. We'll let this go, while at the same time not just droning in to the enemy and dying wholesale. You find a Dicker Max and a T67, these guys end up having a bad day. They got one of them, but they're just getting absolutely schwammered. There goes the Dicker Max. He bounces somehow. Looks like it went into the tracks. Somebody else killed him before Chip could get that last shot. And down goes the T67. Chip thinks, all right, my work here is done. Now what? And he moves up. I mean, this is how it's done, folks. This is a casemate TD. It has a really good field of regard for its gun, which means it has a great azimuth that it can turn. He doesn't have to do a lot of hole shifting to kind of track guys if they're moving right to left or left to right, which is a good thing. But look at him. He's moved up and he's in support. Now, his team is invested heavily over here on the west in the town, and they're mixing it up pretty good. And now we've got Chip's gun has been added to the mix. Just think of if his gun was in the back somewhere. Consider the damage he's done so far, and watch as he continues to do damage. If he'd have just sat back there with the M44, or maybe where that other TD is, up there in the northeast. How about that poor MT25? I think he was shooting at the duck and killed that guy as he tried to go by. But the reason he got that amazing shot, lucky shot, whatever you want to look at it as, is he was here, right? He was up here helping his team win. So they are in a bit of a struggle. Puts a shot into the side of that guy. This dude's trying to get away. Nope, not getting away. Down goes the duck. And they are winning by a lot, 7-3. However, they're going to make a bit of a comeback here. Chip's watching this road. Now he needs to start moving further south because the rest of the fight's down there, and he fairly quickly realizes that, I think, and then starts moving in that direction. And again, he has to be careful. He just doesn't want to drive his Martyr out into the open. He knows this little opening is here, and he starts looking for shots. Let's go support this duck and the rest of my guys that are up front. See if I can get some shots. I think if you just sat back there a little bit, just a little bit longer, you might have had it. Whoa, holy cow. A little palsy there, I think, Chip. That happens. It can be difficult with the casemates, guys, if you're just starting with TDs or starting the game, because shifting the hole and moving the gun can be a little bit disorienting. It also increases the dispersion as you do that. Down goes the Skoda T24. Nicely done on that. So it can be a little bit tricky and ungainly driving the casemate TDs around. Again, that azimuth, the field of regard that the gun has, is very helpful on the Martyr or any TD, casemate TD that has that kind of azimuth capability on the gun, is really helpful on maneuvering around buildings like this and getting shots. Now he knows the P43 is over there somewhere, so he wants to be careful. He's up. They've got the 33,001, whatever it is there. Is it, yes, 3601H trapped, but he's starting to kill people, and the P43 is right there, and he hits kind of hard. So Chip's going to move across. He actually gets lit, I think, by the 3601, maybe. I don't know, maybe it was the P43. The Lukes, the two Lukes are battling it out against the Churchill and the Su-100, and now we've got Chip. And there's that example of trying to shift the hole and shift the gun. The gun went to the stop, and he had to move the hole to get it around. Doesn't get the pen on that second shot. And there's a good example of what I'm talking about with his with his gun coming around the corner. Look how far to the left that gun is. And he's got most of his hull, or at least as much of his hull as he can, hidden behind that building right there. So he's getting a little aggressive, and I like this. He's coming up here and attempting to support the T-34 here. He actually takes a hit from the P-43. I think the P-43 thinks he owns him, and he just sneaks a shot around the corner, and all of a sudden, here we are, 13 to 10. The Lukes and the 3403 FV304, whatever that thing is. Now, the Lukes is coming back this one. I thought he might go after the 34. I guess he is. I think we missed a shot right there, maybe. No, I guess he's back behind the building. Nope. So he gets the T-34 out. And then I'm thinking, wow, Chip, this is awesome. This is aggressive. We are going to charge in and take on a Lukes. Thinks better of it, hoping the guy comes around there. Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like maybe it's a sticky situation here. And he went by, and he makes no attempt to shoot at you. Is he even looking at you? It's hard to tell. Yeah, I can't zoom in, unfortunately. Let's see if we can see here. Yeah, he did shoot at you. He did. I missed that the first time I watched it. He did take a snap as he went by. Interesting. I don't know why he didn't stop and shoot you or just come after you when you were turned around. Very interesting. When you come up behind casemate TDs, that's an opportunity. Now, this thing does spin pretty well on its hull, so he might have got spun around by the time the Lukes got in there, but I feel like the Lukes would have got his next shot off, so I don't know. He decided he wanted to go after artillery, I guess. And now, look at this. Chip is just following the guy up, showing no fear for the light tank, going right at that guy. And I'm thinking, well, surely we're not going to get it. Oh, okay, he's just going to drive right out in front. And the 7th kill for Chip the Dip, 1,138 damage. I think this is a great example. This is what you would do in a Su-130 PM. It's what you would do in a Scorpion. It's what you would do in other casemate TDs. You know, the assault TDs, you might get a little closer up front and play some punchy face. The rest of the glass cannons and the casemates that aren't quite as heavily armored, second line, man. That means that you are still playing, you are still firing, you are still looking to create shots. It does not mean that you're sitting in the back in a bush. And that's why I wanted to feature this one, because it was just a really good example of that, even as it is low-tier gameplay. And, you know, a lot of you guys may be grinding through the Martyr at some point, especially the new players. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it as always. I appreciate all the support with the channel, and we will see ya.